And welcome everyone to another edition of Orlando Magic Pod Squad. Dante Marcatelli, George Galante, and Admiral Schofield, who's now been with the Magic just over a week here in Orlando, but it's his second season in the NBA. We'll get you all caught up with Admiral. But Admiral, I got to know, first of all, thank you for joining us. It's great to catch up with you. You and I have spoken before, and I enjoyed our conversation earlier this year. But can you in any way explain to everybody what the last 7, 8, 10 days have been like for you in your life? It has to have been a whirlwind for you.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I think the biggest thing is just I've been grateful for the opportunity. Jeff Weltman bringing me in, Coach Mosley, giving me the opportunity to be on the floor with these guys and just show some of the things that I've come accustomed to just being in this organization. I love their style of play and love everything that's been going on. So just to get the opportunity to actually get to go ahead and, help this team get some wins and to be out on the floor was a blessing. So like I said, I'm just grateful that Jeff and Coach Mose definitely gave me this opportunity to come out and, help this organization, through this COVID time, but also, really to progress, some of the culture they're trying to build here, some of the toughness they're trying to get. So, I've just been trying to hang my hat on that and, be a light in that instance.
Admiral, do you feel you're on a nonstop road trip? Like, do you feel, when was the last time you slept in your own bed?
Right.
It has to feel just crazy for you back and forth. I mean, you told me today, like you're going to have practice here today, and then you got to go back to your apartment at Lakeland. I don't know what you got to do there. Maybe do some laundry. I don't know. Tell me what this has all been like. Cause it's just, I can't wrap my head around how crazy it's got to be for you and for Asani and the other guys.
I think the craziest thing is that before we all signed the 10 days, me, Aleem, Asani, and BJ, we were just getting off of like 10 to 12 day road trip with the Lakeland Magic.
Right.
Our first off day in like 2.5 weeks, we got called up. So we were rushing to get up to Orlando. So, they have a place for us to stay downtown, but me, I'm a homebody. I just like being in my own space and, like you said, being able to wash clothes and play my video games, So I don't mind driving the hour, especially because how great the opportunity is. So, but, it does feel like a nonstop road trip. But like I said, it definitely feels different when you're in Florida. It's 85.
Yes.
Working, places like that. So, like I said, it's just great to be in Orlando, great to be with this organization and, to get this opportunity. But, it has been a little rocky as far as I think the only thing I've lost and throughout this whole trip is just sleep. Other than that, everything, taking it as it comes and just, trying to make the best of my opportunities.
George, I thought it was great. He a couple games ago, he said he got a lot of messages and word from his family and friends that he looks like the guy at Tennessee, right? You explained that to me. I think that's just so fascinating, Admiral. Just kind of take us through what they meant by that, what you went through in Washington, what you learned there, and how that's all helped you take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, I just, when I first got in the NBA, that was, like I was telling you before, that was like one of the first times that, the fun for basketball was taken away from me just because of, all the other stuff around the game. And for me, it was just like, I had to figure out as a player, how do I stick in this league? What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like to be the player that they're asking me to be, to stick in this league? And my first 2 years, I feel like it was just mostly ego, coming from Tennessee, being a scorer, being a defender, being an impact player and playing a lot of minutes. Doing the little things and doing, what coach asked me to do, at this level, that just isn't enough. It's more than that. And, I feel like more than anything, it was just a humbling experience for me to realize, like, no matter like the amount of work I feel like I put in, like I have to restructure some things to put in the right type of work, like towards the things that being here, Jeff bringing me in for camp, giving me the opportunity to get in front of the staff, the coaches, the front office, and then, giving me the opportunity to be in Lakeland. Just being down there with those guys and that staff, Joe Bear and Johnny Taylor and Adetunji, the GM down there, and Trent and all those guys, they're doing a great job of developing guys and really, teaching guys what this organization wants from out of those players at that level, but also just helping me develop as a player with my IQ, understanding where I'm supposed to be on the floor, spacing, and those little things. So I feel like that's what's really allowed me to be on the floor, is being a great spacer, doing the little things, setting backside screens, cutting, creating lanes and other shots for others. But also, when I get my opportunities, knocking down shots and, being aggressive going to the paint. So I just think the biggest thing that I had to learn was just that, just because how success looked to me coming into the league doesn't mean being successful can't be, looked at in a different way, or you can't be successful in other ways. So I just feel like, the role I'm playing right now, I feel like that's what I was brought into the league to do. You know what I mean? And everything else is just icing on the cake. Like, I can score, I can do those things, but what I'm great at, where I can hold my hat on every night, is being a great defender, knowing the scouting report, being the guy that plays with energy, that brings energy on and off the bench, and just being a guy that can be trusted and counted on when we need a bucket, or, when we need to stop, being that guy that Coach Mo said, you know what, I can hang my hat on Skull. Like, he's a guy that I trust, he's about those things. And Jeff, trusted me to be out there with the opportunity that he's given me. So that's kind of like what my focuses are now. It's not just being, having all the brands and, that kind of
right.
So about basketball, like what I have to do to be the best player I can be for the Orlando Magic.
Even
Love
Tunji,
that gets me fired up.
See, Tunji wears me down with all the Ohio talk and Cleveland. Like, you get worn down from. I'm surprised you're upbeat from Tunji.
Oh yeah. Tunji. I mean, he's definitely a motivator. Even being Lakeland, he stayed on me, and just the opportunity that he also presented towards me, being with the Lakeland Magic, being put in different situations to really show my abilities that I could do. I just really appreciate being in an organization that, takes development as serious as they do, but also really how they, really give guys opportunity that's been with the organization, guys they trust. So like I said, I'm just so very grateful for everything, and that's why when I go out there, no matter what, like, I try to play with no expectations. I just try to do what I know to do, and just remember that, like, I'm super blessed to be here and just to go out and compete. So my main focus is just playing hard and having fun. So that's what I've been doing. And I think, being here, it's been getting kind of contagious with the team, with us 4 guys being up. Now it's just me right now, but you got to keep that going. The energy, the ball movement, that kind of stuff, just, letting that be contagious.
Now, who on the outside of the organization helped you get back to feeling the way you do now, Admiral? Because you said you went through some tough times early on, and when you first got in the league, who did you lean on to help get you in the right frame of mind, or get you back to what you needed to do?
Honestly, I will really say, it's a testament to 4 groups. My family, I'd say my agency, my immediate support friends, like my girlfriend, my older brother, my little brother, and just like, the fans in Knoxville, they've been just very encouraging, and getting back to myself and trying to figure out like what was missing. And I think the biggest thing that was missing, no matter what, was going on, was I just wasn't having fun. When I'm having fun, I don't, it doesn't matter if I score 20 points. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I just love winning. I love impacting winning, and, and being a part of winning. So for me, it's just like, those 4 main groups of people just really honed in on me this offseason and really supported me in ways that I just, I felt like all I could do was be successful. And, what I had to understand too is just like, we have a motto in Lakeland, with the Lakeland Magic, is be where your feet are. And like, that's the biggest thing. Like, I'm big on meditation and big on being present. So like, I really try to like be disciplined on just being where my feet are at every moment, every second of the day, just being where I am and not trying to worry about what's next or what's coming, or if this is going to happen, if this doesn't happen, just being, ready, and then that's the biggest thing, is just being where I am.
That's outstanding. What terrific advice. And, I think about you having fun. Was there anything more fun than when you were winning at Tennessee? I think about your senior year and that Sweet 16 run that you had. You had Purdue on the ropes. You almost went to the Elite 8. Just kind of take us through your time at Tennessee, what it means to be a volunteer to you, and how much fun that was for you in college.
Yeah, I mean, to this day, I go, I don't make it, known, but I go to Knoxville at least 3 or 4 times a year, because I just love, you know, the relationships I've built there, the memories I have there. And then, you know, just to see the school, how they're building it up and, you know, like the impact that my team and in my 4 years that we left there, it's just to see it continue building is just like so amazing to me. So I always like Knoxville, always, the city of Knoxville will always have a special place in my heart. But especially being a volunteer and being at the university and such a widespread fan base across the country, just, I mean, their support is unbelievable. You know, they never wavers. And our fan base is one of the, I mean, I think it's the best in the country. But, you know, just all those experiences, you know, going into games knowing we're going to win or, you know, just having fun with all my teammates, the relationships I've built. I mean, it's just so many memories. And, you know, honestly, I get that feeling being here. You know, like we have a young group of guys. We're trying to build a culture just like it was at Tennessee. And, you know, with that kind of, you know, makeup, you can build something special. You can build special relationships. You can build different connections on the floor. And, you know, just you know, the situation that, you know, the organization is in right now, it can be a big plus. You know, like when I was at Tennessee, my first 2 years, we didn't win. We barely were 500. You know what I mean? And then those next 2 years, something clicked for us. You know, our relationships all change, our relationships, understanding who we are on the floor change, and just the relationships and the coaching staff, trusting the system, trusting that, you know, everyone has their best interests. Like those things go far for players, not just on the basketball, but in any sport, you know? So I just think that, like, you know, in Knoxville, like those are some of the best memories, is that like how we built those relationships, those connections that really bled onto the floor. But more importantly, like what we were able to do in the community, you know, give the community hope, you know, make an impact in the schools and area and those type of things. So I just love going back and, you know, being here, like I said, it just seems like the same type of opportunity. So it just gets me excited to be here and, you know, and get these opportunities to be out on the floor, but also, you know, being in the community and, you know, being a representation of this organization.
Admiral, every time you mention Knoxville, like your face, it just lights up a little. How does a kid from Illinois get to Knoxville, Tennessee, and then fall in love with Knoxville, Tennessee? Because I'm watching you talk about, you know, that you just went on for 5 minutes about Knoxville, Tennessee, and a kid from Illinois. I'm trying to piece them together. So how does that get to you so emotionally?
And that's that's a Mad Illini program that couldn't reel you in.
Yeah, let's talk. We won't talk about that.
That's funny. So I just, you know, growing up, both of my parents, they're from Camden, South Carolina. So
okay.
We'd actually drive through Knoxville all the time, you know, and I didn't realize it until I went on my visit. And I was like, you know, this like highway looks so familiar, you know, like, to go through Knoxville. And actually, University of Tennessee was last on my list. I was going to be a Mountaineer. I wanted to go to West Virginia and play for Bobby Huggins, but I ended up going to Knoxville first because they were my first high major offer. And when I got there, like immediately I was like, oh yeah, this is probably the place for me. You know, like, I mean, the first day on the visit, I was like telling my dad, like, I really like this place. You know, it was.
But what clicked though? What made you feel like, was there a girl that walked by? You're like, wow, this place is awesome. Like, like what happened there? How does it click like that?
Rocky Top, what was it?
To be totally thorough with you, it was just honestly like the fan base, like I had never seen. Like being in the SEC is like, because like my older brother, he played for Wisconsin, he played football at the University of Wisconsin. So I've been to Ohio State, I've been to, you know, Big Ten games, I've been to those big games, you know, and the SEC is just, it's a whole different world. Like it's like a religion, you know, like people really take, you know, SEC football, basketball, like sports so differently. And to see that environment and like how intense I like to play basketball, I just felt like that would really feed, you know, me becoming where I wanted to be, but also the academics and just how, you know, everything is structured for the athletes, student athletes to be successful on and off the floor. I couldn't see a lose in the situation, you know, and just the people alone in the community, like that's why I light up a lot too, because they're just, you know, the hospitality and how much love is just shown in Knoxville is like unmatched.
So it's interesting. So I got a good friend here, Chad, and his mother lives in Knoxville. And she was the one that called him and said, oh my God, they're calling up Admiral. Like that, right. Like the Tennessee support follows you everywhere you go. They're watching all your Lakeland games, all your Magic games. It blew me away. Those fans don't stop cheering once you leave Knoxville. It's amazing.
Oh, No, they are lifelong diehard fans, and you can't beat that. You cannot beat that.
That's great.
They had a team in like Nashville or something. I mean, it'd probably be more orange in there than it would be anything, because it like that. Because it's just genuine. It really
Admiral,
is.
you've got an unbelievable story. You're actually born in London, right? And then your dad, 24 years, I believe, in the military, and then you come to Illinois. I think you're about 2 or 3 years old, but you've got a brother that won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks. I mean, it's amazing family story. Kind of get everybody caught up on your family history.
So my dad was in the military for 24 years. He was in the Navy. He retired as a senior petty chief officer. And he did about 24 years. He did a lot of tours. But I was actually born in London in 1997. We moved over to the US in 99. My dad was stationed outside of Chicago at the Great Lakes base. So I grew up in North Chicago, and then going into my middle school years, my dad was actually sent to Japan for about 4 or 5 years. Okay. So he didn't come back until I was a freshman, and I was going into the 5th grade or the 6th grade, and he didn't come back until I was a freshman in high school.
Wow.
So so for a while, me and my dad's relationship was a little different because I hadn't, in those prime years, I really didn't have him there. He came to visit, but in the military, he wasn't able to get back over. He was in the Philippines. He was actually stationed in Japan. So he was on the whole other side of the world.
That's amazing.
And at the time, my brother was in college and all of that. So when he came back, was my brother's like last year of college. And then my brother got drafted. And then I started going into school. So, when he got back, I just wanted to really focus on basketball. And when he had left, I was still playing football, so, he kind of wanted me to play some football. The basketball thing, when he had left, I was okay. I didn't play hard all the time. And he, when I was a kid growing up, I remember like, if I didn't play hard, he would literally just get up and walk out of my games. Like,
is that right?
Yeah, like if he didn't like how hard I like the effort and like me pout, how kids are when they pout and things like that.
Sure.
Get up and walk out. And like my dad being at my games was like one of the biggest things for me. So, he knew that. So that was one of the way to motivate. And for me, like he was like, I won't come to another game until other people in the community start telling me about you. You know what I mean? He's like, that's when I know you're actually playing. So. In high school, I played football up until my junior year. I was a quarterback, played safety. I just wanted to do it to get stronger and tougher for the court. I would literally like go to the gym after a football practice and work out for like 2 hours. Like, you know what I mean? I just always loved basketball. Amazing. So going throughout high school, I wasn't highly recruited. It was actually my last tournament of my AAU career where I ended up getting like 25 offers in one weekend. I went in with none and got 25 offers. Tennessee was one of them. West Virginia was one of them.
Wow.
So, my whole story, I've always been like, working to get where I was. I never was like in the mix. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I committed under Donnie Tyndall. The year I was coming in, he got fired the year I committed. In my senior year of high school. So Rick Barnes took over at the University of Tennessee. Well, my AAU coach, Dickie Simpkins, played for Rick Barnes. So that was how that connection connected. So I ended up staying under Rick Barnes, and it's one of the best decisions I ever made, But just growing up, man, it's just like the household was just full of sports. Like I have an older sister as well. She used to run track. We all played soccer. We ran track. We played, multiple sports. But I think the most interesting thing about the whole family is my little brother. He doesn't get a lot of, pub, but his name is General. His name is General Schofield, and he's a baseball player, and he's really, really good. He's really
Is
good.
that right? How about that?
So hopefully we can get NFL, NBA, and MLB. That would be great.
Wow. We got to look and see. George, that's where George comes into play. He can find out if that's ever happened before.
I'm going to have to look that up. Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, those three sports. So you got your name, I'm assuming, Admiral, then obviously because of that's about as high a rank as you can have in the Navy. So your dad's love for the military, right? Is that why you in general get your names from?
So General got his name because of my dad's love in the military. But me personally, so in London, you know how here in America, we have the general car insurance.
Yes,
In London,
right.
they had Admiral car insurance. So my
No
dad
way.
was at the hospital and he was like kind of stressed out, so he wanted to, chill and talk to one of his Navy buddies. They were in the car, they were talking, and an infomercial comes on the radio and it was like, and he hadn't figured out what he wanted to name me. So he's like, Admiral, I like that name. So when it comes down to it, I'm born or whatever. When they go to sign the names, my mom writes Donovan Arias Schofield because my middle name is Donovan Arias. But my dad goes in front of Donovan and puts Admiral without.
Oh, that's a great story. No kidding.
Yeah. So yeah, he goes and writes Admiral in front of me, and she just looks at him. So that's how I got my name. Yeah.
Man, I'm glad he didn't listen to a Hertz commercial or anything, a State Farm or something else. That would have been awkward. Man, I thought for sure that had some type of connection with your dad being in the Navy, but it doesn't. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It fits though. It fits.
It does fit.
Fits. So there was a great, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Nante.
There was a great article that was written, Admiral, and I think when this is all said and done, you guys that all got this opportunity, we can glorify it as much as we want, but you guys saved the NBA. Really, when you think about it, there's almost 200 cases with COVID here, but you guys getting a call up from the G League and guys coming in from all over kept this business model moving, kept it moving along with the way you guys play, kept it competitive, and kept it a very entertaining product. I mean, when it's all said and done, how much pride, obviously you've talked about your opportunity, but at some point you're going to look back and realize you guys kept this thing moving. You got to take great pride in that too, Ed.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, hearing a little bit of the buzz and stuff like that. I mean, talking with the guys, like it's something that is definitely a confidence booster. You know what I mean? And to get a little taste of, being in the NBA right now and all the opportunities we've been getting is just very motivational for us to continue to get back here, and stick and be here. So like, just to think about it in that aspect, it won't hit me till later, like you said, but that's definitely a way to look at it. We definitely help keep the business going. And, when these guys get back, when there's other opportunities, I think a lot of guys that have been playing really open some eyes to be able to get the opportunities that, may open up when things get back.
Well, we've said that on the broadcast, and this will be the last thing from me, but we've said this on the broadcast. You're an NBA player, and you know that. We know that. It's just about opportunity and fit, right?
Yeah.
So how do you piece that all together? You're here, obviously you want to stay, but it's a business. It could be here, it could be somewhere else. You're auditioning for 29 other teams as well, right? How do you you're trying to show everybody what you can do, and you've done that. Right. So how do you feel, and how confident are you that this is something in a place that you can stick?
I feel good about it. I feel very confident in that. But I think the biggest thing is just, like you said, you're auditioning for a bunch of teams, but I think the biggest thing is if you can focus on what this team wants, and the opportunity here, and you really focus on being here, a lot of times you won't have to go elsewhere, So I think my is doing everything I need to do to be in be a part of this roster. Man, I feel like if I do that, other opportunities will open up, but it'll give me the opportunity to be able to stay or choose to be able to stay. And like I said, I mean, I love this staff, and I just love the energy they come with every day. And the front office is very encouraging in what they want in their younger players and what they're looking for. So I've been playing pretty well. And like I said, you can't beat this weather. So I'm just going to keep what I can. I'm just going to keep doing what I can do to show that, I belong here. I deserve to be here, but also that I want to be here, like genuinely want to be here by doing the right things, by playing the right way, and, being the right guy in the community, being the right guy on and off the floor.
Well, you're unselfish. You go about things the right way. You play hard. You've shown that you can guard 1 through 5. I mean, they put you on anybody, right? Yeah. And you play with a chip. You play with fire. I love that. Fans love that, and I think that's great. And it's a great start to your NBA career here in Orlando. And let's help this thing continue on, okay, Admiral?
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.